Hi guys, how are you and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we're going to see how we can make this one-pager website with the help of HTML and CSS. We're also going to see how we can make this website a mobile responsive one so that it can easily be accessible through laptop, computer, mobile phones or your laptops. And above all, the most important thing is we're going to see how we can deploy this website on GitHub so that it can easily be shared with your friend, family or anyone on the internet. So make sure to watch this video till the end so that you can understand each and every topic very clearly. And guys, one more thing, that if you are new on this channel, so I request you to kindly please subscribe it so that you can get the latest update from this channel and also you can able to watch more videos like this. So next we'll be seeing how this website looks like in your computers and in your mobile phones, right? Next we'll see the coding part. So let's get started.
Now we'll be seeing the website that we'll be creating today in this video tutorial. So at the starting you can see that I have this beautiful Marquee Tag, right? Here you can list your discount, offers and any new update through this Marquee Tag, right? And then after that you can see that I have this heading, welcome to XYZ Studio, right? Basically this is the random word I have written over here as XYZ Studio. You can name your business over here as per your need and requirement. And then after that you can see that I have this beautiful logo, right? And then I have written few paragraphs about the nature of the business, and these are also the random words over here, right? So you can also change it as per your needs, right? So this is the about section. And then after that you can see that I have this beautiful my services section. First of all I have this heading as my services, and then I have a 2-3 lines about the my services, right? And then I have these 3 beautiful cards over here, right? So you can see that all these 3 beautiful cards are styled with the help of CSS, right? That is the cascading style sheets. And here you will notice one thing, whenever I'm hovering my cursor on these images, so these images are zoomed in and zoomed out. Also, if you'll observe one thing, that the background color is also changing from black to green, right? And I have this contact us button also, and its color is also changing from white to black, right? Whenever I am hovering my cursor on this button. And also I'll show you the beauty of this contact us button. So whenever you're going to click on this contact us button, it will going to redirect you to this contact us section, right? So next, after this my services section, I have this customer reviews, right? And here also I'm having these 3 cards. And here if you'll notice one thing, that whenever I'm pointing my cursor on the user image, so these user images are zoomed in and zoomed out, right? Also the color is also changing from brown to orange, right? Next I have this contact us section, and in this contact us section you can see that I have listed down my phone number, the email address and the location, right? And also you can see that I have the icons for this phone number, email address and the location, right? So we're also going to see how we can use the icons in HTML and CSS. And then at last I have this beautiful footer section, right? Designed, developed and deployed, right? Till now we have seen how this website looks like in computer and laptop. Next we're going to see how this website looks like in mobile phone and tablets. So for that I left click over here and then I'm going to select this inspect, right? And here you can see that this website is mobile responsive, right? Let me see how it looks like in iPhone SE, right? So it looks like this. And let me also check for iPhone 14 Pro Max, right? It looks like this one. Let me see whether our CSS is applying over here or not. So here you can see that our CSS has also applied successfully. If I click on photo or videography, you can see that the images are zoomed in and zoomed out. Similarly, I will check for customer reviews, and here you can see that the user images are zoomed in and zoomed out, right? So it is working perfectly fine in the mobile phones as well. Let me check for other devices as well. So I'll check it in Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, and it looks like this. Yeah, so here you can see that this website is working fine. Let me check in the tablet format. So I'll be selecting this Nest Hub, and here you can see that this website is responsive in tablet as well, right? So let me check whether CSS is applied or not. So yes, we can see that the CSS is also applied and the images are zoomed in and zoomed out. The background color is also changing. So it is working in all the devices, right? Let it be a computer or laptop, mobile phone or tablets. So this website is completely suitable for all the devices. So in this video, we're going to see how we can build this website with the help of HTML and CSS, and also we're going to see how we can host this website on GitHub. You can see that this website is hosted on course by sit github.io/one-pager website. Basically, this is my repository name as one-pager website, right? And why it is showing as hash contact? Reason because I have clicked over here, right? So if I'll just remove this thing from here, and I'll just hit the enter button now. So you can see that it is working. But the moment I'll click on this contact us button, so you can see that it has not redirected to this contact us section and it is showing like this, right? So we'll be seeing how we can create this website with the help of HTML and CSS and how we can deploy it on GitHub. So what things we'll be requiring? Languages, I've already told you that we'll be using HTML and CSS, and the deployment platform will be GitHub. Now, next thing is we'll be requiring this code editor. So we'll come to our Chrome browser, and in the Google search bar, we'll just type Visual Studio Code, right? And here you can see that this is the official link of Visual Studio Code, and just click on this download, right? And you'll be redirected to this page. Now if you are a Windows user, so you will click here and download the Visual Studio Code for Windows. And if you are using Linux, so you can download it from here. And if you are Mac user, so you will going to download the Visual Studio Code from here, right? Next, you'll see, now here you can see that I have this GitHub in the Google search bar, right? And I'm going to click over here, right? And here you can see that if you are new to this GitHub, you need to sign up, right? So just click on the sign up button. Now here you can see that it is asking for your email. So you will going to enter your email, and then you're going to follow certain steps on GitHub, and then your user account will be created. Now next we'll be seeing the extensions in the Visual Studio Code. So once you have downloaded your Visual Studio Code, and in the extensions here, when you will click here, and in the search bar when you will type live server, this, so you will get this Ritwik Day live server. Here in my case it is saying uninstall, right? Because I have already installed this live server. In your case it will be showing as install, right? So install this live server extension, and then after that come here and again search for Prettier, right? Prettier, right? Prettier code format, right? So install this extension as well. And then after that, one more extension I would like to tell you is this auto rename tag, right? This auto rename tag, right? You will also install this auto rename tag, right? So these extensions we'll be requiring in this video tutorial, right? Next we'll be seeing the coding part. So let's get started with the coding part. Now to get started with the coding part, first of all I will make a folder in my computer, and then I'm going to rename this folder to, let's say, website tutorial, right? So I'll come here and rename it to website tutorial, right? And then I'm going to open this folder, and here I'm going to paste my images which we'll be requiring, right, in making of this website. Now here I'll come here, and here I'll just write CMD, and then I'll hit the enter button from my keyboard, right? And then after that here I'll write code dot, and then I'll hit the enter button from my keyboard once again, and this will open my Visual Studio Code. Now we're going to see how we can make this Marquee tag, the moving text, as you can see on the screen at the starting of this website before the welcome to XYZ Studio. I'm talking about this text. Thank you for visiting our website. We are offering this much of discount till this date. For any query, you can call us or mail us at this email address, right? So this sort of thing we're going to make here, right? So but for that, first of all, we'll have to make the HTML file. So here I'll click here, and then I'll write index.html. This is the file name of my HTML, right? First of all I'll write the structure of HTML. So I'll write HTML semicolon 5, and then I'll hit the enter button from my keyboard. So this will give me the structure of this HTML, right? I'll quickly, in the title section, I'll write my first one page website, right? And then I'll hit the save button from my keyboard. Now next thing is I'm going to create one style.css file. So here I'll click on this new file, and here I'll write style.css. This is my styling file basically. And then after that, after creating this file, I'll come back to my index.html file, and just after the meta tags I'll write the link tag over here, and then the name which we have given to this file in the href, we're going to write that name, and now we will link this style file, right? So now our index.html file, the HTML file, and the CSS file both have now been created, and they have now been connected to each other, right, with this link tag. Next thing is we're going to write over here the Marquee tag, right? And in the Marquee tag I'll be writing this text, right? Let me open the website for you. This text I'm just writing over here. So I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code, and then I'm going to write this text over here, right? Now I'm going to save my file, and then at index.html I'll just left click, and I'll open this file with the live server. And here you can see that this is my first one-pager website. Here you can see that in the title it is showing here as my first one-pager website. And this Marquee Tag, you can see that it is also appearing on the screen, right? And it is moving, right? So our Marquee Tag is working fine. Now what we'll do, we'll give the styling to this Marquee Tag, right? So I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code and then I'll open my style.css file. First of all, what I'll do here is, as Marquee Tag is in the body tag, so first of all I would like to style the body, right? So here in the body, I'll first let's say I'll write background color. I'll keep it as white over here, and then from here we're going to use the font family also, right? So we'll select the font family as well. Let's say I'm using this one, the third last from the last, Georgia Times New Roman Times, and this serif, right? This the third one from the last, right? So I'm using this one. Next thing is I'm going to write the Marquee Tag over here, and then I'll be saying its color is yellow. Font weight, let's say it is bolder, right? And background color will be red, right? Now I'll save my file and I'll come to my browser. So here you can see that now this Marquee Tag with this styling is now completed. The next thing is we're going to see how we can create this about section, right? So for that, we'll come back to the Visual Studio Code once again and we'll open the index.html file. And now to make the about section of this website, first of all, let me open my website in the browser. So here you'll see that in the about section, first of all, I have this heading, then I have the image, and here you can see that I have two paragraphs, right? So we'll be building this thing in the about section. So now I will open my Visual Studio Code and here I'll write section over here, right? And then to this section, I will give a class and named it as about, right? Next thing is what we'll do here is we'll write the heading. So I'll write welcome to XYZ studio, right? Studio, right? Next thing is I'm going to insert the image, right? So and the source, you can see that I want this image, right? This image. So now the name is one.jpg, so I write one.jpg, right? And in the alternative text I'll write logo image. So if in case my image has not been uploaded or is not been shown, so alternate to that I'll be displaying the text named here as logo img, right? So this text will be displayed if the image is not displayed, right? And then after that I will give a width of 10% and height also I will give as 10%, right? Now next thing is this paragraph, right? So in the paragraph I'm writing some random text, so I'll say I'll be writing lorem 50, some random words, right? So I'll write 50 random words with the help of this lorem 50 tag. And then after that, next thing is I'll use one br tag over here, right? One br tag over here, and then again I'll be using this p tag and I'll be writing more 50 words in the next paragraph, right? So now I'll save my file and here before the section I'll write one comment as about section, right? And then I will make it as the comment, right? So this is my about section. Now I'll save my file and I will going to open this in the browser, right? So here you can see that I have the heading, I have the image, and I have these paragraphs, right? So next thing is I need to style it in the center, right? Like this one. So what we'll be doing here is we'll come back to our Visual Studio Code and open our style.css file, right? And here first of all I will write class name. Let me open the index.html file, and this is the class basically about, right? So whatever things we have written over here, this will all come in this class, the class named as about. So I'll write dot about because we have given the class name. In case we have given the id, we must have written over here as the hashtag, but this is the class, so we'll be using dot about, right? I'll write about dot h1. I'm targeting this heading in this about, right? And then next I'll be doing here is first of all I'll be changing its color to red, right? And then I will write text align center over here, right? Now let me see my browser. So here you can see that now it is coming in the center. This heading is coming in the center. Similarly, I will make this image in the center with this styling, right? So I'll write dot about. Now I will target the image tag, and then next thing is I'm going to write margin left, right? I'll use the margin left now, and here let's say I'll be giving 45%, and let me see my browser, and here you can see that with this one also we can get our image in the center, right? So now if you notice one thing, that there is just one space, right? And here the space is more. So what we'll do here is we'll come back to our index.html file and we'll just remove this br tag, right? So now I'll save my file and let me check in the browser. So yeah, good. So here you can see that I am getting my heading, my image, and these paragraphs in the center, and this about us section is now created, right? You can also see that there is one line which is differentiating this about and my services section. So for that we'll be using the hr tag. So here just after this section we'll be writing the hr tag, right? Now I'll save this and come back to my browser. So here you can see that this line is now appearing, right? Next we'll be building the my services section. So we'll again open our Visual Studio Code, and now first of all I will make a comment as services section. So let me write this, and then after that I'm going to make one section once again, right? So I'll use the section tag, and here I'll give a class here as sections, right? And then in this section, next what I'm going to do here is I'll make one heading, right? So I'll use h1 tag, and here I'll write my services, right? Now I will use a paragraph tag over here, and here I'll write a random paragraph of 50 words. So I'll be writing lorem 50, right? And then after that I'll come back to my browser, and here I can see that this my heading and this paragraph is now coming, right? Next thing is I need to make these divs, right? So what I'll do here is I will first make one div, and within this div we'll be making three more divs, right? So I will here just after the paragraph I will make one div, and in the class I will going to give a name as section div, right? And then after that in this div I'm going to make one more div, and this div I will name it as let's say product, right? And as I can see from my browser that in this div, in this product div, I have one image, one sort of a paragraph, one word paragraph, and then I have another paragraph, and I have this anchor tag, right? So I'm going to write those things in my this product class div, right? So I'll say I'll be using image tag, right? The first image I can see this is the first, this one is the second, and this one is the third, these images. So in the source I will see first of all the image file name, and this is the file name is one.png, right? So I'll come back to my index.html file, and here I'll say one.png, right? One.png, this image I will select, and since I know that this is in the same folder, so I'm going to directly going to write this, right? And then in the alternative text I'll say it as logo image, right? So if in case this image is not appearing on the screen due to some reasons, then alternatively this text will be displayed, right? Now I will give a width of 50%, and at the same time I will give the height as the 50%, right? Now next I will make one paragraph tag, and here I'll write photography, right? Let me see the spelling, right? This G should be in small letter, and GRAPHY, yeah, photography. And here I'll write let me see from this what is written in the browser. Yes, so I'm going to copy paste this, and here you can see that at here this 200 is spiked out, right? So here I can write this text as I will use the strike tag, this strike tag, just a second. I will write strike, and then over here I'm going to cut this and I'm going to paste it in between the strike tags, the opening and the closing of the strike tag, right? Now I will use one br tag over here just after the paragraph tag, and then I'll be using the anchor tag for the contact us section, right? So I'll write contact us, and in the href we can see that right now we don't have any contact us section, right? So for this moment only I'll be just writing hashtag so that it will not going to redirect anywhere, right? It will remain on the same page. So now I will open my browser and let me see that how it looks. Yeah, so here you can see that all things are coming in this way. Next thing I will going to, first of all I will going to mention this videography and photo clip combo pack as well, right? So I'm going to copy this product div one more time and I'm going to paste it here, right? Yeah, two more time. Now let me check the second image, 2.png, this one is 2.png and this one is 3.png, right? So here I'll write 2.png, here I'll write 3.png, here this one is videography. I will change the paragraph heading as well, and this one, the next paragraph also videography. And here let's say, let me check what I have mentioned over here, this 1000 and this 900. So this one is going to be 900, this one is going to be 1000. Similarly this one is 1000, this one is 1100, right? And the text will also going to be changed. This one is photo combo pack. And now what I'll do here is I'm going to replace this food geography services, and here I'll write this one. And also let me see this as well, photo video combo pack. I'm going to replace this thing as well with this tag. So here I'm going to write this thing. Now I hope that it is completed now, right? So let me open it in the browser, and I can see that this is also coming, uh, this one as well, right? Yeah, each and everything is coming, right? Now the next thing is we'll need to style it, right? So for that we'll be using the style.css file. So quickly I'll open my style.css file, and here we need to notice one thing, what classes we have mentioned over here, right? So as here you can see that the first class which we have given over here is the sections, right? And one more thing, if you can notice one thing over here, that this sprite of text is appearing in red color, right? But here you can see that this is appearing in black color, right? The one which we have made just right now. So I'm going to open my style file, and here I'll just write strike, and here I'm going to give a color as red. Right now I'm going to save this, and you will notice in the browser that this text is now appearing in red color, right? So CSS has been applied on this striked out text. Next I'll be working on this sections, right? So I'll write section, let me see section, and I'm going to target this heading, right? So I'll write section, I will going to copy this class so to avoid any spelling mistakes, right? Since it's a class, so I will use dot before this, and then I will going to target its heading, right? And here I'm going to provide the color as red. Then after that I'm going to text align it in the center, so I'll be writing text align center. Then after that I will open my browser and I will check. Yeah, so this has now been styled, right? So this is my services section, and this heading and this paragraph is now styled, right? Next we will be working to style these three divs, right? So I'll open my browser once again, I will open my Visual Studio Code once again, and then here I'll see that all these class products div, right? These are in this section div, right? So first of all, the first thing we're going to style is going to style this section div, right? So I'm going to copy paste this, and this is a class, so I'll be using the dot one, and I'm going to display, and I'm going to put it as display flex. Next I'll be saying justify content, and this will be in the center. I'll also say text align center, right? Now I'm going to save this, and here you will notice one thing, that all the things are coming horizontally, right? Earlier it was coming in the vertical alignment, but now it is horizontally placed, right? Because here I've used display flex property, right? Next thing is I am going to style the products. Basically what these products I will show you in the index.html file. You'll see I have used this div product. So next I'm going to style this product div over here, right? So I open my style.css file, and here I'll write dot, and let me going to copy from here, right? It's a good practice that if you are copying the classes from here only, because it will going to save you from spelling mistakes and all, right? So I will going to style this and I'm going to use background color. Let's say it as black. Then after that, I'll say give it a margin of 10 pixel and a width of 30%, let's say. Then after that, I'll say color yellow and this border radius is equal to let's say 10%, right? So I have now I can see that. Let me open my browser. Yeah. So when we give border radius, so all the four sides, you can see that these are having curves, right? Because 10% border radius we have given over here. So it looks beautiful. But if you notice one thing over here, that this image is not zoomed in or zoomed out as what we can see here, right? Whenever I'm pointing my cursor, this image is zoomed in or zoomed out, right? So for that, I'll be targeting this image and I'll come back to my style.css file and I'll say dot product and then I'll use img tag. Why I did so? Because if you notice that this img tag is in this product, so I'm targeting this image, right? All these images and each and every class is named as product, right? So it will going to apply on each and every image. Now here I'm going to write box shadow and this I'm going to say 8 pixels 8 pixels 8 pixels and this I'll say it as aqua, right? Now and also I'm going to say dot product and img and this I'll say it as over and this will going to use transform let's say scale I'll say as 120%, right? So now with the help of this will be zoomed in and zoomed out, right? I'm going to save my file now and then after that I'll come back to my browser, right? And here you can see that now this is working, right? With the you can see that aqua color is also there, right? And this is also zoomed in and zoomed out with the help of the transform property and scale which we have used here as 120%, right? Now if you notice one thing that in the example when I'm hovering on these boxes the background color is also changing. It is turning from black to green, right? So we're also going to style this thing and for that we'll come to CSS file once again and here I'll say that dot product let me write dot product and here I'll say I'll be using hover and I'll say background color as green, right? And then I'll say margin, so margin will be let's say 10 pixel, right? And I'm going to save my file. Now I'll come back to my browser and I can see here that the colors are also changing, right? So these all are working fine, right? Next you'll notice one thing that here this contact us section is in the form of a button, right? And the colors are also changing, right? Earlier it was white, but now when we are hovering on these buttons, so this will turning it into the black color, right? So we're going to see this thing as well, right? So I'll say that this is my anchor tag contact us section. So now I'll be using dot product a, right? So I'll be targeting this dot product a, these anchor tag, and I'm going to first of all give it a color as red. Next up I'll be saying that the background color will be, let's say I'll say it as white. The padding will be let's say 10 pixel and this border radius will be also 10% and this text decoration I'll say none, right? Now after that I'll also going to provide the hovering effect, right? So I'll say that dot product anchor tag a hover property and I'll say that background color will be black, right? So I'm going to save this thing now and I'll come back to my browser. So here you'll see that now that these buttons are also appearing and its color is also changing, right? So let me compare this with my original one. Yeah, it's same, but you can observe one thing that there is one line. So I'll come back to my index.html file and here just after this section I'm going to write hr tag. Right now I'll come back to my browser and here you will see that now there is one line after these three divs, right? This line, right? So I hope guys that you are enjoying this, and guys if you're new on this channel, so I request you to kindly please subscribe this channel so that you can get the latest update from this channel and also you can able to watch more videos like this. And also guys please like this video as well. Now next I'll be building this customer review section, right? So for that I'll be opening my Visual Studio Code once again and here just after the service section. Now, next I'll be creating the customer review section. So first of all, I'll write a comment over here as customer review section, right? And then after that, I'm going to again use the section tag, right? And here I'll give the class as sections, right? The one which we have already given in this my services section, right? I'm talking about this one. Reason because if I will come back to my browser and if I'll show this original website to you and this customer review section and this my services section, so both looks similar in terms of styling. So that's why to avoid the repetition of styling in the style.css part, I have used this sections only, right? And one more thing I like to tell you that here I'll be using this div which is having the class named as section div. So I'll be using the same section div, right? When I'll be making this customer review section, right? Reason because if I'll again open my browser and show you, so you can see that these three divs looks similar to that of this customer review section, right? So that's why to avoid the repetition of code in style.css part, I'm just giving the same name in the customer review section, right? So now just after this, I'll give a heading, and here heading I'll give it as customer reviews, and then after that I'll be just writing this div, right? And here I'll give the class named as section div, the one that I have already told you. So this is this thing, and after that I'll be creating a review div also, right? So I'll write div class here, I'll name it as review, and in the review I know that I have this image paragraphs, right? I'll come back to my browser and here I can see that I have this image and this the name paragraph and this a paragraph text, right? So I'll come back to my browser and then I'm going to say I have this image tag. Now let me see which image I will use over here. So this is my image 4.4.png, right? I'll just write this 4.png and here I'll say it as user image. The width I will provide it as 50% and at the same time I'll provide the height as 50%, right? And then after that I'll use the paragraph tag and I'll say Mr. ABC, some random name I'm giving over here, right? And paragraph, let's say I'll be using, let's say for 10 words, right? So I'll say lorem 10. So this will give me a random text of 10 words. And now I'm going to copy paste this, or first of all, just after this paragraph, I'll be giving one space as well. So I'll be using the br tag over here. Now, okay, fine. Now I'll do one thing. I'm going to copy and paste this thing, right? Two more times because I can see in the browser that I have these three things, right? Let me open the website that we are designing. This is my first one-pager website, and let me see how it looks like, right? Yeah, so here you can see that each and everything is coming correctly, right? I'll open my browser, and now next I will be styling this review section, right? So I'll open my style.css file and here I'll write dot review, the class which we have given in the index.html file, right? This class, right? So here I'll say, let's say background color is brown, because if I'll open my browser and I'll show you the original website, this one. So the color is this brown color, right? And when I'm hovering it, the color is changing to yellow, right? And you can see that the image is also zoomed in and zoomed out, right? So all will be seeing this in the style.css file. We'll be styling this over here. So I'll say background color will be brown, the margin will be 10 pixel, right? And then after that width will be, let's say 30%, and after that the color of text will be white, and font weight will be, let's say bolder, right? And border radius will be 10%, right? Now I'll save this and let me open my browser and see the website that which we are creating. So here you can see that now these stylings have been applied to this customer review section, right? Now if you notice one thing, that when we are hovering this, the color is not changing and neither the images are zoomed in or zoomed out. So first of all, we'll see how we can zoom in and zoom out the images, right? So I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code and then just At line number 78, we're going to write dot review, and I'm going to target the img tag on hovering effect, right? So I'll write like this, and then I'll use the transform, and in the scaling I'll be giving 120%, right? Now I'm going to save this thing, and let me come back to my browser, and here you can see that now these images are zoomed in and zoomed out, right? So it is working fine, right? Now what next we'll be doing over here, we'll be changing the background color, right? So I'll come here and I'll write dot review, and then I'll write over effect, and here I'll give the background color to, let's say, orange, and margin will be this 10 pixel. Next, font weight will be bolder, right? And the color will now be black, right? Now let me save this, and I'll come to my browser, and yes, here you can see that this text is coming in black in color, and the color is changing from brown to orange, right? So it is working perfectly fine. Next, if I'll show this the original website to you, so here you can see that I have this line also, right? So what I'll do here is I'll just be writing this thing. I'll open my Visual Studio Code, and just after the section tag I'll use the HR tag over here, right? Now I'll come back to my browser, and I can clearly see that I have a line like this, right? Now let me compare this with the original one and the one which we have created just now, right? So here you can see that it is working perfectly fine, right? Each and everything is same over here, right? Yeah, great. Yeah. So next we'll be seeing this contact us section, right? So I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code now, and now next I'll be making the contact us section. So first of all, I'll make a comment over here as contact us section, right? I'm going to do like this to look at like a comment, and then after that I'll make a section over here, right? This I'll use a section tag, and I'll use the ID as contact. This one is the contact ID, will be contact. The class will be section, right? Sections, right? Because here in the styling part, if I'll see this thing, this sections h1 heading, the color is red and text align in center. So if I'll open my browser, and here I can see that all the sections are same, right? So that's why here also, to avoid the repetition of code, I'll be using the class as sections only, right? Now I'll give one heading, and here I'll say this heading will be contact us, right? Now I'll be using a paragraph tag over here, right? And I'll say here that the phone number, let's say I'm just writing some random, or I'll say xxx, right? Okay, and then after that, next I'll be making another paragraph tag, and here I'll say email, just a second, email address is this, say xyz at the rate, let's say anything you can write, I'll say example.com, right? And here also I'll make one more paragraph for location. So I'll say location, and I'll come back to my browser and copy paste this text, right? So I'll come here and write this thing, right? Now I'm going to save my file, and then after that I'll come back to my browser and I'll open my website which I'm creating, right? So this is my contact us section, but if I'll compare this with this thing, so here you'll notice that these icons are missing, as well as these phone number, email address, the location, right? All these things are appearing to be much more bolder, and they are colored as blue, right? So here in this HTML code, I'll first of all use a span tag, right? And I'm going to cut and paste this text in this span tag, right? And then in style.css, I'm going to style this span tag, right? So let me do for location as well. So I'll copy and I'll cut and paste it here, right? And then I'll open my style.css file, and I'll scroll down a bit, and here I'll write span, and then I'll say font weight will be bolder, and this color will be blue, right? I'm going to save my file now, and I'm going to come to my browser, right? and here you can see that this phone number, email address, and location, right? These things are not perfectly styled, right? Now only these symbols are missing over here, right? So what I'll do here is I'll come to my Chrome, and then I'm going to just type this text. For phone number, I'll say phone symbol text, and then for this one, the email symbol text, and for this one, I'll just type location symbol text. So here you will see that there are a lot of phone symbol text are there, and these email symbol text are also there. Similarly for location, you can see there are multiple location symbols are there, right? So I'll select any one of them, right? So for phone number, I'll be selecting, let's say, this one, right? And I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code, and then here I'm going to paste this symbol, right? Similarly, I will select for email address. So I'll just say I'm going to use, let's say, this symbol only, right? And then I'll to come back to my Visual Studio Code, and here I'm going to paste this. Similarly for location, so I'll be using, let's say, this one. I'm going to copy and paste this in my Visual Studio Code, right? I'm going to save my file, and I'm going to open my browser, right? So here you can see that now the contact us section is created successfully, right? And if I'll compare this with my original one, so here you can see that, yeah, it is exactly the same, right? I'll just give spaces between the symbols and this text, right? So I'll come back here, and here I'll say, or here I'll give spacing over here, right? I'll save my file now, and let me open my browser, and yeah, it looks good. All these things are looking good, and each and everything is perfectly aligned, right? I will also try to copy and paste these symbols in my YouTube video description. So you can also copy these symbols from this video description, and you can use this in your code, right? Now, next, if I'll show you that in the website which I have created earlier, if I'll click on this contact us button, so it is redirecting me to this contact us section, right? And even if I'll click here, or if I'll click here on this button, so each and every contact us button, if I'll clicking, so I'm getting redirected to this contact us section. But if I'll open the website which I'm creating just now, and if I'll click on this contact us button, so here you can see that I'm not getting redirected to this contact us section, right? Even if I'll click here, or if I'll click here on this button, right? So I'm not getting redirected to the contact us section, right? So for that, I'll be opening my Visual Studio Code once again, and here in this services section, right? And in this div, the product class product, right? This div, and here in this anchor tag, here I have written hash, right? And here if I'll check my contact us section, so here I can see that I have given the ID contact, right? So I'm going to copy this, and now what I'll do here is I'll come back here, and in the href, now I'll say I'll be pasting it here, and I'm writing hash contact, right? Here also I'll write hash contact, and here as well I'll be writing hash contact. Now why I have written hash, right? Because here in this contact us, I have given the ID as contact. So whenever you are mentioning the ID, so you will going to use the symbol hash, right? So for this reason only, I have written hash contact, right? Now I'm going to save this, and now I'll come back to my browser, and the website which we are creating right now, we're going to click on this contact us button. Right now, if I'm clicking on this contact us button, so I'm getting redirected to this contact us section, right? I will also come and check here as well. Yes, this is also working, and let me see the last button also, this contact us button. So here you can see that this button is also working. So if I compare this website with this one, so each and everything is same, right? Now you can see that there is one footer section after this contact us section, right? So next we will be making this footer section, right? So for that, I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code, and just after this section, now next, as we are creating the footer section, so first of all, I would like to make a comment over here as the footer section, and then I will use the footer tag as here. Just a second. Yeah, this footer tag, and then here I will use one paragraph tag, right? And here, let's say I'll be typing this designed, or I'll come back to my browser and copy paste this text, right? And here I'll open my Visual Studio Code, and then I'm going to paste it over here, right? You can use this heart as well, right? Or you can also write over here as and then you're going to write hearts, right? So if I'm going to save my file, right, and I'm going to open it in the browser, so here you will notice that this heart is also coming and this text is also coming, right? Next, what we'll do here is we'll need to style this footer, right? So I'll open my Visual Studio Code, and in the Visual Studio Code, I'll open my style.css file, right? And then here, just after this span, I'll write footer, and then I'm going to design this, or I'm going to style this footer. So I'll say background color will be orange, and then color, let's say this will be black, right? Font weight will be bolder. This font weight will be bolder, and text align will be center over here. And let's say height, I'll be saying it as, let's say, for vertical height 4 ph, right? Now I'm going to save my file, and then I'm going to come back to my browser, right? So here you can see that now it is the website which we have created is just the replica of the website which I have created earlier, right? So here you can see that now we have successfully built this website, right? Now next, what we're going to do in this project, we're going to make this website a mobile responsive website, right? Because if you can see my original website, this website, right, the website which I have created earlier, and if I'll inspect this website, right, so here you can see that this website is mobile responsive, right? You can see this website is mobile responsive. If I'll change it, let's see how it looks like in the iPhone SE. Yeah, so it looks like this. Let me see how it looks like in Samsung Galaxy S8. Yeah, it will look good, right? Similarly, I will check it for Samsung Galaxy A51/71, right? Yeah, so it looks good. Yeah, yes, it is looking perfectly good over here, right? Now if I'll come back to the website which I have created just now, and if I'm going to inspect this website, right, so here you will see that this website is not a mobile responsive website, right? So if I'll compare this website with the website which we have created earlier, so here you will notice one difference, that the website which I have created just now is not the mobile responsive website, right? This website is not mobile responsive. So next we'll be making this website the mobile responsive, right? So for that we'll be using only the CSS part. I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code now, and just after the footer section. Now next, I'll be using the media query to make this mobile responsive website, right? So here, if I'll just compare, so I'll just see that these section divs and this product and reviews, right? So these are coming in the horizontal way, right? But here, if I'll compare this with this website, right? So these all are coming in the vertical alignment, right? So for that, I'll open my Visual Studio Code, and here I'll write @media, and then media only, and then after that I'll write screen, and here I'll write max width as 768 pixel, right? So this will going to work for most of my devices. And then here I'll target this section div over here, right? This section div I'm going to target. Then after that I'm going to target this product, and then after that I'm going to target this review, right? So I'll come back to my style.css file, and then here I'll say section div, and then I'm going to style this. I'll say the flex direction is the column, right? And align items will be center, right? I'll save this, and let me see how it looks like in the browser. Yeah, it looks like this, right? Next, I'll be changing the width, right? You can see that it is not taking the proper width. So I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code. I'll say that this is the review, the class is review over here, and this is the product, right? So I'll come back to my style.css file, and I'll first write product, I'll write comma, and then I'll write dot review, right? So simultaneously I'm going to manage the width over here in this style.css file. I'll write width, and here I'll say it as 80%, right? I'm going to save my file now, and I'm going to come back to my browser, and here you can see that now it looks perfectly good, right? Yes, yeah, it looks good. I will check that how it looks like in Samsung Galaxy S8. Yeah, here you'll notice one thing, that in Samsung Galaxy S8, that the footer section I need to style it correctly, right? So I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code, and here I'll write footer, and here I'll write font size as medium, then I'll say background color as this green yellow, Width, I'll say it has 100%, and height also I'm giving the 100% over here, right? Now I'm going to save my file, and yes, now I'll come back to my browser, and here I'll see that now this footer section is also coming perfectly, right? So now we have created a website, and this website is now mobile responsive. If I'll open in iPhone SE, you'll see it looks like this, right? So it is looking very good. I'll also see how it looks like in this Samsung Galaxy S8. Yeah, it looks good. I'll also check it with this Next Hub, right? How it looks like in the tablet form. Yeah, so it is looking perfectly fine, right? So we have created this beautiful website. We have also seen how we can make this website a mobile responsive website. Next, I'll be showing you how you can host this website on GitHub so that you can share this website with your friends, family, or anyone on the internet, right? So I'll come back to my Chrome browser. Now I will type GitHub in the Google search bar of the Chrome browser, and then I'll click on this login, right? Since I've already logged in, so I have been redirected to this page, right? Now I'll click here on this your profile section, and then after that I'll click on this plus icon, right? And here I'll click on create new repository, right? I'll give the repository name as the one pager website, right? And let me see, it is available. One pager website is available. In the description, I'll say one pager website, and here I'll write HTML and then CSS, then the GitHub, right? And also I'll say that is mobile responsive, right? So this is just the description. I'll keep it as public, and here I will add a readme file also, right? Now I'll scroll a bit, and then I'll click on this create repository, right? So yeah, this my repository is now created. Now I'm going to upload my files, right? So I'll click here on this add file button, and here I'll click on this upload files, right? Now here it is saying that drag files here to add them to your repository or choose your files. So I'll open my folder, and then here I'll select all my files and images, and then I'm going to simply drag and drop over here, right? So here you'll see that it is uploading all the files one by one, right? Now here you can see that my images and all these things have been uploaded, and now in the comment changes I'll give a one message. I'll say uploaded, right? And I'll click on this commit changes, right? Now it is processing your files, and here you'll see that all your files are now uploaded, right? Now I'll come to the I'll click on the setting icon, and I'll drag a bit, and in the code and automation section I'll see that there is one section at the last, this pages. I'll click here, and then after that I'll select the branch, and I'll select the main branch. I'm only seeing that I have only one branch, and that is the main branch, and I'm going to select this main branch, right? And then I'm going to click on this save button, right? Now it will take 1 to 2 minutes, and your website is now hosted, right? So for a moment I'll be coming back to my profile, and here I'll see my repository as one page of website, right? I'll click here, and here it is taking time, right? So I'll just refresh my page once again, and in the deployments you can see that this GitHub pages is now showing as queued, right? So this means that it is still in progress. I'll refresh the page once again, and in the deployment pages you can see that this deployment in progress, right? So refresh the page, and you will see that your website will now be deployed successfully, right? Because here you can see that the message is showing as the deployment successful when you will hover your cursor over here. When you point your cursor over here, so you will see that this deployment is successful. When you will click over here, so you will see that this is the deployment link. HTTPS goes by set github.io one pager website. I'll click here, and here you can see that now your website is hosted successfully, right? So in this way you have seen how you can create this website and how you can make this website a mobile responsive one, right? So yeah, you can see over here that this is the mobile responsive website, right? And here you can also see that this website is hosted successfully on GitHub.
So in this video, you have seen how you can build a website with the help of HTML and CSS. Also, you have seen how you can make this website a mobile responsive website, right? And not just that, you have also seen how you can host this website on GitHub so that you can share it with your friends, family, or anyone on the internet. So overall, I think guys, you have learned a lot of things in this video, and I hope guys that you have liked this video. And one more thing guys, if you are new on this channel, so I request you to kindly please subscribe this channel so that you can get the latest update from this channel, and also you can able to watch more videos like this. So thank you, that's all for this video, and I'll hope to meet you soon in the next video. Thanks for now.